My name is Staddon. I'm the company spokesperson for Everde Growers.
And I'm Tom Foley. I'm the Director of Product Development at Everde Growers.
Today we're at the Forest Grove Farm. We're about an hour west of Portland in Oregon. We abut the coastal ranges. On the other side, about 60 miles, is the Pacific Ocean. This is a magnificent spot. In the background behind me is part of our 600-acre nursery where we grow a terrific array of plants that can be used across the United States. Conifers, spruces, Japanese maples, woody ornamentals, perennials, and more. So why did I get into the nursery profession or the industry? It was quite by chance. I married my bride, came to America, we moved to Albuquerque where I started working in a retail wholesale garden center. I never planned the whole thing out. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. There was a job for me, I took it on, and I loved it.
I got into horticulture as a very young teenager with my parents. We owned it started out as a hobby greenhouse. It became a greenhouse that we were growing hanging baskets and servicing grocery store chains and doing merchandising. And then I went on to college at North Carolina State University. I studied horticultural science. And then my career took off working in botanic gardens and then into the wholesale nursery industry and retail nursery industry. So I've got a pretty broad background in this green industry.
So here's the point. Tom is almost an academic when it comes to horticulture. He's had this really quite complicated education. Me, I just dropped into the whole thing by chance. So the point is, if you want to join us and work in these beautiful nurseries like we have behind us, you want to work with people that love plants, there's lots of job opportunities. You don't have to be an expert. We can help you, we can teach you, there's books, there's community colleges, whatever it might be. So seriously, think about coming and joining us. Why is horticulture a terrific place to be? The future is very, very bright. There is more interest in plants today than I've ever seen. I have the good fortune to travel the length and breadth of America, and everyone is talking about plants. During the COVID years, somewhere between 18 and 20 million new people got into gardening. And in recent surveys, the percentage is very high for those people who will return to gardening. Gardening is a very social experience. Writing, painting, playing a musical instrument, bird watching, and gardening. These are all things, professions, industries, part-time things you do. They cross every single social barrier. Gardeners love to share, their successes, their failures, their plants, whatever it might be. So the fellowship is absolutely terrific. A very high percentage of American households grow vegetables, carrots, lettuces, whatever it might be. And the good news in this is that children are getting involved. Plant your carrots out, 4 or 5 weeks later you're harvesting. I mean, that's a really exciting experience. Landscape architects and designers are playing a crucial role in urbans, in cities like Portland. They have this fantastic tree canopy, all these amazing different types of trees and conifers, whatever they might be, Japanese maples. And do you know what? These types of environments help reduce stress. They help reduce heart disease. It is just terrific. Community gardens, we call them allotments in England. Community gardens are extremely important. Again, regardless of the size of community you live in. There are waiting lists around the block for people to join community gardens. Yeah, there are a few rules, but you can go woody ornamentals, blueberries, veggies, whatever it might be. The door is wide open. One of my passions is horticultural therapy. Horticultural therapy now covers the length and breadth of the United States. It's fantastic. You find horticultural therapy programs in wellness centers, hospitals, senior centers. If you've been involved in major invasive surgery or any type of surgery, severe depression, whatever it might be, and during the healing process, you come into contact with plants, the healing times are significantly faster if you're involved in plants, whether you're looking at green grass or a veggie garden or you're going around the garden on the paths. It's just terrific. And then lastly, indoor house plants. So for those of us in our profession, we always used to wonder, how are we going to get younger people more interested in plants? Well, indoor plants have just done that. So whether you live in an apartment, a flat, you don't have to have a garden anymore. You can use these magnificent indoor plants for a bright spot, a low light spot, whatever it might be. So the future is very bright.
What I enjoy most about working at Everde Growers is a collaborative nature, in that I can have the opportunity to work with great people like Nicholas and my other coworkers, and in the broader industry. We're a very collaborative industry. We tend to work well together, we enjoy each other's company, and we help each other be successful in the horticultural industry.
It really is terrific to work with me, isn't it?
It is.
My thoughts so. Thank you for saying that.
You bet.
We're a family-held company. We're a very large operation. We've got 15 nurseries or farms across the United States of America. We've got about 2,000 people, maybe more, on the payroll. And it's a small, condensed unit. We have an open door policy. Anyone has a problem, a concern, an issue, or something they want to share, then we can just walk through that door and talk to anyone about it. It's really a terrific place to be. Look over my right shoulder. So I am sure that some of you spend a lot of time working in offices, and we spend our share of time looking at a computer, we really do. But come out here into the nursery, whether it's in Oregon, California, Texas or Florida, is a unique opportunity. Truth is, you have to get away from your desk, right? You have to get up from your computer. And this is how we do it. It's our therapy. It's what we love to do. So to put things into perspective pertaining to Everde Growers, we have 15 farms across America in Oregon, California, Texas, and Florida. We grow 33 million plants a year, which include 6,300 different varieties of plants. It's absolutely incredible. We're farming on about 6,000 plus acres, and we employ over 2,000 people. Our customer base, and we're the only company, I really believe, that has this broader customer base, are landscape architects, designers, contractors, rewholesalers, independent garden centers, and the national retailers. We cover it all.
One of the most popular plants that we grow at Everde Growers has a couple of key characteristics. Evergreen, it can be grown as a vine or as a ground cover. It's easy to propagate, which is really important for us in the industry. It grows fairly quickly, and it has fragrant flowers. And that plant would be star jasmine. One of the other great attributes of star jasmine is that in the southern part of the United States, we can sell it as a landscape plant, and it's extremely durable, easy to establish. In other parts of the country where it's cold, those star jasmine are used as essentially summer annuals, that people would put them on a patio, maybe in a container, and enjoy the beauty through the summer.
So star jasmine, if you're in the warmer regions of America, does beautifully in the ground. If you're in the colder regions of America, you can use it as an annual, because as Todd said, it's great evergreen, it's got these great fragrant flowers as well. So it's a winner. So trends or cultural shifts, I'm not quite sure which, but the first one is edibles. Edibles are so popular. And as we stated before, they're in many, many American gardens. There are lots of different, whether it's blueberry bushes, vegetables, apple trees, whatever it might be, it's very broad. My real favorite coming right round the corner for us in America is the cutting garden. In Europe, this has been popular for years and years and years. Tom and I and our team, we were at the PAC trials, which are held on the California coast earlier this year. And we saw all these beautiful new perennials and cut flowers that people are going to be able to grow in their gardens. They have long stems, big bloom heads, and they'll be able to harvest these flowers and bring them indoors. Here's the skill. The skill will be running your cut flower garden and your vegetable garden together. So where you're harvesting your carrots or your potatoes, you'll be doing the cut flowers at the same time. Indoor gardening, this terrific trend on indoor plants, bright light, low light, whatever it might be. It's just taking America by storm, and you'll see it all over the place. Plants are really easy to get as well. You can buy them in the stores, you can buy them on land. Container gardening is not going away. One of the really interesting things we're seeing is the annualization of perennials. That is to say, we're seeing perennials going into containers where people used to plant snapdragons or pansies or things like that. That's a really big emerging trend. Minimalist or contemporary gardening. This is a big thing in Europe, and we're finally seeing it come to America. It's mainly in the inner cities, rooftops, whatever it might be. This is more of a modern look in gardening. It's more about edges, corners, than actually about long borders of plants, whatever it might be. It's about plants which are strategically placed within the garden. Perennials and tropicals, right? We spoke a little bit about perennials and the annualization of perennials. The other trend, moving to a cultural shift, is agapanthus, or tropical plants like cannas, that hitherto that were just used in the warmer regions of America. They are all sweeping up to the colder regions, to wherever it might be in Wyoming or Minneapolis or Milwaukee, places like that. People up there, gardeners up there, they are using these as annuals, right? And they're prepared to pay for a lot of money for them. They want something that's unique, that's foliferous, that's unusual. It's a really big trend. And lastly, trend to cultural shift is horticultural therapy. Hort therapy used to be kind of trendy, kind of hip. Now it is a key foundation in the healing process. And we're going to see more, and we're going to hear more about this, and we're going to talk more about it. So it's a very exciting time.
Water conservation is an important factor for our customers. We look for plants that are low water use, and that's one of my responsibilities in working in new products, is to plant the right plant in the right place, and we look for plants that are low water use wherever possible. And low water use is very dependent on where we are in the United States, wherever those plants are being used. So low water use in Oregon is very different than low water use in California, which is different than low water use in Texas. And so we have different plants that work in those different gardens and different landscapes and communities throughout the United States. Another important trend that we're seeing is increasing the plant density. So we're seeing more ground covers used, plants planted in closer proximity to each other, and building on that overall urban landscape. So you've got a canopy of trees, shrubs, planted a little more dense, and landscape ground covers. We're seeing increasing use of brands in the horticulture industry. And there's a couple reasons for that. And I look at it from a consumer standpoint. All of us are consumers. Nicholas is a consumer and I am as well. And so we're gravitate towards brands, whether they're a pair of Levi's or a shirt or a bottle of water that we look for when we're purchasing things. We gravitate towards brands. Why do we do that? Brands bring trust. I think the other important thing within plants is that it takes complicated plants and products and pulls them together in a cohesive way that I know that these plants within this brand family are going to work together, play well together, look great in the landscape. Nicholas, what are some of your thoughts?
So brands allow us and you, consumers, to have better plants. And there's a royalty stream in this. So for every brand that we carry, whether it's flower carpet roses or drift roses or the Endless Summer Hydrangea program, all those different brands, we pay a royalty for those. And those royalties are very important. They actually go back to the breeding companies, and it allows them to continue their good work. For a plant that is more foliferous, that a plant that's more disease resistant, might have different colored flowers, whatever it might be. So branding is a way to get to very, very good plants or vegetables or trees, whatever it might be. And it's not going away, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, the brands are here to stay. We've got some great companies that we work with and we collaborate with to bring brands to our customers.
So probably true to say, the best is yet to come.
So where do some of our new plants come from? We have a global network of breeders, both professional and amateurs, that are breeding exciting new plants. So we work with companies and individuals in Europe, Australia, North America, Central America, all over the world looking for new plants. And we like to work with plants that are great garden performers as well as good production performers.
So the three things that are keeping us awake at night in our profession are labor, water, and invasive plants. And that is not necessarily in their order of importance either. So let's talk about labor. Like every job market in the United States of America, it's difficult to get people to come into our profession. So we're looking towards automation. Automation that will help us keep our costs down. It's going to help us make a really consistent plant, and it will allow people other job opportunities within our chosen profession. Water is absolutely key. Everyone from one side of America in the other is very focused on water management. And as you can see behind us, we use a lot of water. Around this particular nursery that we're seated on, there is a moat. It's an underground moat where all our water is recycled. It goes back to a central point, and there that water is managed, etc., and it's sent back out to be used. So we're very focused on that. And invasive plants. So this is where Tom comes in with his job. Part of his new plant process is when he brings plants into the country, and this is all done with the USDA, it's all done under license and permits, etc. We make sure that that plant is not going to wander. So when we bring a plant in, it's going to be a well-behaved garden plant. It's not going to become invasive like some of you will have heard, like the kudzu, which has taken over in different parts of the Southern America. So those are the three things that probably keep us awake at night. So for those of you watching today, it's crucial that you belong. It's crucial that you belong to your state association or your local nursery association. We spoke about gardeners who are very social, and a lot of information is shared between gardeners. We're just the same as growers. That's one of the reasons why we grow beautiful plants, because we've learned how to do that from other growers. We've learned how to do it ourselves. We work very closely with associations. We're in Oregon today, and so our Oregon Association of Nurserymen, starting tomorrow, has a huge trade show called Far West. And we have a big booth at Far West. And that's where we meet our customers. That's where Tom will meet breeders. It's this big exchange of information. In the big picture, over America is a group called American Hort. And that's where we all live under American Hort. So they help us, whether it's politically, disease issues, whatever it might be. This is a key component of how we all work together. So Tom, what are some other things?
I mean, we work with a lot of different companies, botanic gardens, arboreta, individuals. I stay really in close contact with several companies almost on a daily basis to keep that collaboration and that flow of information and flow of ideas. It's so important for us in new product development. I like to gather the information first and really understand where the plants are coming from, the garden performance, before we even evaluate those plants.
And then lastly, there's the internet. Many years ago, you'd write letters, you'd telephone each other. Now we text, now we send emails and all the other fast ways of moving communication around. But it has to come from reliable sources, has to come from sources you believe, you trust in, etc. I guess it's one of the reasons why we're book hounds. We have lots of authors that we follow. We have lots of books on our shelves containing lots of terrific information. So for those of you watching, this is why when it comes to information, you've got to have some really solid sources. Working with Tom, he speaks about the breeders, hybridizers, plant explorers that he works with. These are men and women and breeding companies he's known for years, right? He trusts these people and they trust us. So when we're pulling information off the internet or from other sources, it's very important that we trust that source, right? So I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, and I like to work closely, and I do work closely, and all of us and several of us who are working in new products work hand in hand with the breeders, and we have to kind of dig through some of that overhype that sometimes we see. We see that in a lot of other industries, overhyping of different products, and so for us, we really have to trust that information, and that's one of the reasons that we evaluate plants for several years sometimes, for a long time, just so that we can dig through some of that information, and those plants have to grow well for us in our operations. This is wonderful today, Nicholas. Thanks very much. And I want to thank all of you for listening and participating, and most importantly to our customers. We greatly appreciate your commitment and working closely with us. The contact information is on the screen, so feel free to contact me through email anytime.
So my apologies from the get-go because I tend to be a bit slow on the emails, but text I'm really quick on. So from all of us at Everde Growers, thanks for joining us. It's been a terrific event.